Tonight's show, I'm doing the energy forecast for August, and I'm answering all your questions with live readings coming up right now.
Let's abandon human nature for a mystical adventure. We're building on the vulture.
Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Thursday Night Live. Welcome to the Cruisyverse. How's your week been? It's been an interesting shift and change as we're in Leo season and eclipse season, and we had a retrograde, and we now have the repercussions of the shadow retrograde, post-shadow retrograde until I believe the 6th of August. So a lot of shifts, a lot of changes, a lot of transformations, a lot of realizations. And so we'll be doing the August energy forecast week to week, and each week I'll be letting you know which actually chakra to be focusing on that week as well. And in conjunction to, I'll just pull even a spread for each week to see and give my psychic predictions for each week and kind of dive deep on in. So, but yes, it's been an interesting time. And as I've been saying, just kind of remind y'all how I started with June being the, actually, no, May. I think May was a house. May. What I called the House of Mirrors. We're reflecting all our shit, right? All the fragmentation of who we are, and looking at that and putting to play. And so we were forced to look at things we didn't want to look at, or forced to look at things that were resurfacing from our unresolved karma and our subconscious come into the forefront. And that forced us to put those things together in a sense and pluck things that we didn't need. And then June came in, which I call the fragmentation to integration phase. And so we were actually learning to, get rid of the things we don't need, start welcoming things that we do need. As we embarked into July was my integration to celebration, where actually the half part of July is where we start to really make those connections. And the connections don't just mean physically; they also mean emotionally and subconsciously and intellectually, making those connections of, this is not my thing, this is my thing, just to simplify. And now we're in, August, which I call the integration to transformation month. And so the integration to transformation means that all the things that we looked at, plucked away, the things we brought in, the directions that we've chosen to embark on, we're now putting it to gear. We're making it we're transforming that now. We are transforming from that now too. So we'll get into the specifics of that week to week. But for now, where's my overlays? It's always something. As you guys have been seeing with the retrograde season, my tech was going berserk. Let me see. Where are my overlays here? Gosh. Give me a moment here, because the overlays is right behind my camera. Give me a moment. See? Okay. There. Okay. There we go. How to put that up. Ay. I was like, maybe this week there'd be no tech issues, but no. But then, and these prices are not the right prices. Let's get these on. Okay. All right. If you want to get your questions in, get them in now. This is the post-retrograde shadow that we're experiencing. There's still little lingers of these things. But if you want to get your questions in, get them in now after the collective read for August. We'll get that in. So 15 for card pull, 20 for one question, 30 for two questions, 40 for a live video. The PayPal and Venmo links are in the description below. Get them in. And our wonderful Mod Nina is in the room, and she'll let you know how to do so. And if you have any problems or help and all that great stuff, get it in. Let's first see who's chatting. Kathy on in the room really quickly. Can only see who's chatting, can't see who's viewing. Y'all have privacy who are just viewing. Before, Pamela Johnson, good to see you. Jennifer Cruz, hello. David Cruz, hello. Julia Fox, Darby Mabry, good to see you as well. We have Kate. Good to see you with the hearts and the purple hearts. That's my thing. That is my thing. Brenna Zoe, good to see you. Stephanie Panaharada, good to see you as well. Cecilia Frodite, hope I'm saying it right. Good to see you as always. Janelle Haugen, good to see you as well. Yes, Mercury is in the microwave. That's very true. And Noel C. Phew, glad you made it too. A lot of people have been catching the after shows lately. A lot of y'all been busy. Last week was kind of funky. If you didn't catch the live show with me and Heather Exposito, check it out. We had a great conversation, did reads as well. But it was funky last week. I don't know. It's kind of stinky. But James Porterfield, good to see you. Lisa James, good to see you as well. Abby Co, always good to see you. Let's get into this collective read, shall we? Let's get into, I'm going to start with just a general collective read as we embark into August too. Let's see what we need to kind of focus on overall, and then we'll get into the August read as well. All right, let's shuffle these cards. For those who don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I don't need the cards, but the cards are here just as a guide point for collective purposes as such. And it's a little flashy for online. When people ask me to read, I'm like, I don't need the cards, I don't need your charts. All I need is to put the cards on here. Okay. Just to read, just to tap on in. All right, let's see what the cards are saying here. Just generally as we embark into August, things we want to keep in mind. Okay. And we got 2 here. And these cards are little-ish. I think I'm due for a new set. I have so many sets I don't use. But I feel like I just want... I haven't really found the set that's my set. And the ones I have are just like so beat up. But, you know, we'll see. Okay, just still shuffling. Okay. All right. Give me a couple seconds as I tune in. Okay. Before we roll into August, the thing you want to ask yourself is, what lane are you in? Do you know your lane? Do you actually know where you're actually spending a lot of your energy and time focusing on? Is that your lane? Or are you in someone else's lane? Are you hyper concerned or hyper focused on what somebody else is doing versus what you are doing? Or are you allowing yourself to say, I'm going to be doing whatever I do contingent on what somebody else is doing or not doing? Are you making that someone else's lane your lane? Right? Because a lot of what we're going to be seeing in August is this individualism, this identity shift within the self, and making that very tangible and solidifying that. And so a lot of times we are spending too much time peeking in the lives of other people to say, oh, well, what they're doing is not what I'm doing, so I got to do this. And so the comparing and contrast aspect, which is not bad when we're part of this collective world in a sense. It's not bad to do a compare and contrast. But when you're doing it so much to where you feel like you're not doing enough, and this is the social media bug that people have when you're on social media, like, oh, I comparing your lives. We have to understand while we've been integrating, since the mid-July, that will come about because we're starting to now connect people we haven't connected with before. We're starting to see things around in the communities that we've never been a part of and aspects of it and saying, oh, wow, they're doing a lot more than I, or I'm doing more. And so we got to eliminate that aspect and say, what is my lane? And because there's room for everybody in this planet, no matter what realm that you are in. Even if there's an oversaturation, there's always room for someone to fit in and do their unique expression. And this is one thing we have to understand. What is our unique voice here? What is our unique expression in what we are doing that separates us from other people, what other people have been doing? Right. And so I've been feeling this compare and contrast energy that we need to be aware of as we, welcome, August energy in, because, when we integrate, we don't get it right the first time. Like, oh, I feel these connections, and you get this connection like, oh, that's not my connection. Or you make some great vibes, and the great vibes make these connections, or these great ideas, you make connections, then you realize that's not my vibe. That's not my integrity. And my integrity doesn't match with that either. And so we have to decipher as we integrate what we are actually integrating in, and are we making someone else's lane our own lane? And so these are things we have to be very conscious of. And so those who are not in the professional idea with this, are you making other relationships the importance of your own relationship? What somebody else is doing in their relationships? Are you saying, well, they're doing that and I'm not, so there's something wrong? Or are you comparing and contrasting too much, or just bring that in balance? Get rid of that, because that's what the Two of Pentacles is coming and saying. It's all about the balance. It's really all about understanding the balance. It is okay to be inspired by another. It's okay to be inspired by others' relationships. It's okay to be inspired by others' professions and careers, but understand we're on different timelines. And when I say different timelines, I mean that we are functioning in our timelines a lot differently than other people, and we have different dynamics in our lives that we're putting different times in as well. And so some might have spent 15, 20 years on what they're doing in that marriage or relationship, as you have not been putting that time and effort into your marriage relationship. So you're not going to be parallel to that. But you might have advanced in other aspects in your life that they haven't advanced on. So we have to put it into perspective before we start comparing and contrasting and making that a decision as far as what we're doing and not doing, right? Because that takes away the individualism. However, we can use that as inspiration. Oh, wow, they have this great, long, fulfilling relationship, and they put time and energy into that. I want to put time and energy the same way. And then boom, you do. But understanding your timing, where you're at in your own karmic cycle. That's important. And we do have to be understanding during this time of integration, right, that who is with the Five of Swords, who has your best interests at stake here? Who is actually being an energy vampire? Who is actually taking that psychic hook and attaching to you and feeding off your energy? We have to understand these psychic connections we have, we establish to people, and what we're feeding. And understanding, having discernment to say to ourselves, does this person have my interest at stake, my best interest at stake, or are they just kind of feeding from me? Are they pulling from me, right? Or are they scheming me, scamming me? So, of course, this is one thing we have to understand, too, during this time when we have this identity shift as we're integrating, is that we have to understand who has our best interest at stake. Because every connection that we make with people, and when we're invested, there's a psychic connection that that is created, a psychic pipeline. And that energy could be transformed back and forth unconsciously without you even knowing that. It's like it's an energetic grid, pipeline in that grid, in a sense. And so we have to understand, is there any open psychic connections I have that's pulling and feeding, that's creating anxiety? And, and so these are things we also have to understand as we're beginning this integration phase about which connections are my feeding here, both subconsciously and unconsciously. And, there's usually these open pipelines of connections that create anxiety for no reason. You might feel like, I have anxiety, I don't know why, And so for me, I always close down connections when I'm done with a person. Like, we're good. We close the connection down because I understand I don't need to keep feeding and filling anything or allowing someone to fulfill and feed off of me because of their connection to it. Right. And so, and you'll know this because the solar plexus chakra is usually when these psychic connections are feeding and transmitting anxiety. You'll feel it in the solar plexus. That's letting you know there is a psychic connection that's pulling. And you usually will feel that in the solar plexus, in the gut, right? And so that with the devil card coming after that too, we need to be understanding of our physical desires and how we're actually grounding ourselves in the physical reality and not dismissing our physical desires, but then understand what part of our physicality are we bounded? Are we bounded? I always screw this up with the double words of binded and bound to. What part of our physical desires are we keeping ourselves bound to? And then understanding that we are here to enjoy, to express, so but not to be bound by our physical desires. And so you guys might be making your physical desires more of a hyper focus that's kind of keep you bound to maintain these physical conditions. And that is something that's separating you from your spiritual essence and your spiritual perspective that wants to move forward and expand those things. So again, we need to find the balance of saying, okay, well, I'm integrated with the ideas of what I need physically, and I'm not being ashamed by that because of spirituality and saying that I can't be physically, inclined or have physical desires. Physical desires are there, necessary, but they're actually just a voice for your expression, how to express your soul. That's what the outlet is for. So we need to understand, I'm embracing my physical desires. Yes, I'm embracing the financial stability. I'm embracing the companionship. I'm embracing the idea of having, integration with people and that love exchange, right? You're embracing the desire for them, embracing the sexuality of yourself, the intimacy of yourself. You're embracing these physical desires so you don't become bound to it because you're resisting it. And many people shut off these, the root chakras and shut off the foundation of who they are as a physical being to where they become so deprived that they desire it more. And that actually throws the nervous system out of whack too, because then we start like thinking things and forming attachments, subconscious attachments, and then our, a prefrontal cortex is really what's fixated on how can I feed these deprivations, right? And so we need to understand how to put that in balance. It's okay to want these physical desires, but understand what the expression is of why you desire them in the first place. This way to become bound to them, you understand their expressions. And the idea behind them is that you're living through your spiritual voice, your spiritual perspective, the soul perspective. And the physicality becomes the result of such. And it's interesting that the Lovers card came about too, because, this is definitely going to be a month about love and focusing on love and things that come from the heart, right? The things that you do fall in love with. It's not just romantically. It's also things that you have fallen in love with or things that you've loved for quite some time and giving those expressions, the voice actually this time and saying to yourself, what have I not given the voice to? What within me do I love? Does my heart really, beat for that I haven't given a voice to? I mean, it's time to give a voice to that and start integrating with that ourselves that way, right? Because, we have to think of alignment too. And the chakra system is a great marking point of the different points of ourselves that how we express ourselves that can force alignment or see things which are out of alignment. And the heart chakra is very much showing to us whether or not we are in alignment of love, but also connectivity and expression. Right. And so if you're not doing that part and you're out of alignment with your heart chakra, then things won't be of substance or quality. You won't come into your existence, into your experience. You'll be meeting a lot of superficial things, a lot of superficial relationships, actually. Like, I don't know, I'm just not meeting the right relationships. Like, well, are you coming from the heart when it comes to relationships? Or are you just like, I need a person that's rich, I need a person that fills all my needs? Is that love? Is that coming from the heart? That's not coming from the heart. That's coming from like the I think I want deprivation mindset, right? And so we have to ask ourselves, where are we coming from the heart? And everything you're stepping forward saying, is this coming from my heart? And you may have to ask yourselves these questions and take a step back and say, let me just analyze for a moment. Because especially when we bark into Virgo season, you're going to have to analyze and be very, very logical about how you're grounding yourself in, and we'll get into that with the weeks. But ask yourself, is this coming from the heart? Or is this coming from a past need or desire? And so we need to understand how to integrate that. right? And if you're coming from relationships and you're saying, am I coming from the heart relationships? I'm coming from the love and joy of connectivity and companionship, or am I coming from the place of need? And if you're coming from a place of need, you will also meet someone who is needy and or wants to pull from you too, right? Or will just deprive you and you'll be in more need. So you just kind of repeat that energetic karmic cycle, so to speak. So we need to take a step back and instead of hearing all these things and say, oh yeah, I get that. Coming from there. Okay, but are you really doing that though? Do you know what it means to say, yeah, I've been coming from the heart on this? Do you know what it means to be that way? Because if you don't, then you're not doing it, right? And no, someone says, my heart is needy. No, heart doesn't need. You're misinterpreting your desire, your heart's passion, and you're integrating that with the deprivation of it. So, because you're not expressing it. So the only thing the heart needs is to express itself. It doesn't need tangible things. So to say your heart is needy is like such a dichotomy in a sense, because the heart doesn't need it. It needs to be. If you're repressing the heart, then you're going to feel that need because then you're not expressing it, and then you're not manifesting or integrating with the tangible results of such. So no, the heart isn't needy. The only thing the heart needs is to express itself. That's it. But these are things we want to kind of think about as we walk into August, as we're in Leo season. And then of course we'll be entering Virgo season, shortly after. And so let's get into the first week. Okay. And remember what I said before, guys, let's not overly mystify these things either, because, coming into terms of heart is doing things that enrich your life. So many people just focus on, if it doesn't make money, I'm not going to do it. That's where you're going to keep yourself fucking stuck. It's like, oh, if I don't make money, then I shouldn't do it. Really? Because what about enriching your life? Because if you enrich your life, that creates value, which will bring in more value, which will increase your money. So those are things we need to understand about doing things that enrich our lives and will actually trigger the heart chakra and fulfill the heart chakra. Because when we have these things in alignment, what happens is that we start attracting and being attractive to things of equal equivalence, equal nature, in a sense. We got to be mindful of that, especially while we're doing this integration. And again, you're not going to get it right. And so this is what the first week is about in August. So the first week in August is centered around relationships and recalibration. Okay. And this is definitely going to be focused on your heart and sacral chakras for this first week. Okay, so we have, Mercury has finished its retrograde, but we still have the post-retrograde shadow, which is up until around the August 6th, And so what this is going to be doing is really helping conversations. And the relationships that maybe had been established, mid-July, may resurface. And so any type of communication delays, anything that has been like kind of complacent or been kind of delayed, we'll kind of revisit and re-solidify and or not, right? And so it's giving a chance to like emphasize, what is harmonious, what is disharmonious, what really sits well with me during this first week and what doesn't, and solidifying those relationships and or getting rid of them. Right. And so, and again, like I said before, this is going to be based on saying like, do I feel this from the heart, or does it feel like it's an overcompensation? Like that's what we should be focused on week one, as these relationships, whether it be romantically or personally or within business, these are the things we're just going to have to start like paying attention to. Because how many relationships you have are actually because you either feel a need for it, they need you or you need them. And like, those are just codependent relationships that are full of need. And this can create more need for you. And ask yourself, maybe your heart is telling you, is saying that I feel inspired to just like go new, start something new. Right. And so follow that simplistic idea. Okay. And so let's pull some cards for this first week as well. So it's very simple for the first week. Right. I also feel during this first week too that, as I shuffle these, that a lot of like relationships that have been phony, fake, will be revealed. You'll start seeing the bullshit. Bullshit's like it stinks, right? And so, and I always say you don't want to like to cover up that bullshit with a Febreze, with Febreze, because all you have is a Febreze watered down fart. Basically, you don't want to cover it up. You want to say, okay, time to go, time to merge this way. And you might be put in a position to choose between certain aspects or opportunities in the first week, and you'll have to use your heart to decipher this. And heart is also your intuition. And that is the time you'll have to learn how to do that. So it is a turning point in a sense too, with these relationships that have been established, mid-June, and or ideas. Now, when I say relationships, I'm also talking about relationships with yourself, not just external relationships for you hermits out there. Okay, even the relationship with yourself, or your relationship to certain ideas, or things that you planned on doing, right? Even just thinking of the relationships within yourself as well. So this first week, and the cards that come out for the first week is the World card. So it is about the integration and those around you, your community, and coming full circle. Right? So like I said before, the relationships that may be established in July or these connections, they will either revisit themselves this first week and check in to really either solidify or dissipate in that sense, right? And with the Hangman in reverse is saying it is a turning point. Actually, it is putting things upside, kind of seeing the inverted nature of things, which will give you more of a spiritual discerning energy of like how to move forward. So the first week is really kind of integration, but also there's some fragmentation too. Right. And the Four of Wands in reversed is also saying too that we need to be focusing on activity. No more laziness, no more putting shit off, no more making excuses for shit anymore. You've actually had the positions now to take these leads and say, I'm moving forward. I'm actually going to be moving forward with these ideas. That's first week. Okay. So, especially with like romantic relationships, if there's someone you're dating and you're like, oh, well, I don't know if I should call them or they're going to call me, they'll make the connection this week, right? If you're waiting on a job opportunity for that promotion or raise, you've been kind of waiting for that, it's been delayed, boom, it connects on the first week. Right. And so, especially with the 10 of Cups coming, it's like the harmony, completion type of energy too, in conjunction with the World card, things, the harmony starts coming in. If you've been waiting for, some sort of, any type of response, even if it was the legalities, boom, there's some movement on that too, showing that. That's more of that tangible integration with the first week. Okay. But we must remember your heart will be attacked that first week. So even with relationships that have been pulling from you or, bastardizing you and you don't realize that, you'll come to realization this person has been kind of bastardizing me for no reason and taking advantage of me and making a fool of me. What the fuck is going on here? I need to start, cutting those. I hate saying cutting the cords because it's not really what they say about cord cutting in a sense, but you're closing down those psychic pipelines. You're unplugging. Okay. And that's what we'll be so focused on, in the first week. And like I said, the negative side of this, you will feel bombarded by being duped. If you haven't been keen enough to realize about these relationships, I've been duped. And that will come to solidification too, if you haven't realized that previously and prior. So it really is kind of like setting the tone for August moving forward as we embark on Leo season too, as well. Right. And so, let's get into the second week. Okay. So the second week, it's really about, to me, the second week for sure is about taking risks, making like courageous changes in your life. Right. And so, which is definitely centered around your throat chakra and your solar plexus. It is mainly about your communication and speaking up too. So many of y'all might say, well, my risk is actually finally speaking up and saying I deserve that promotion now because the first week they said they're giving it to me, but they haven't yet. So I'm going to speak up this week and use my voice to make that change. I'm going to take a risk. Even if it's a risk of, jumping into a relationship or a risk of going out to meet that relationship or taking a risk to expand the relationship or taking a risk to do that new creative idea. Because, even though we're looking at, the throat chakra and the solar plexus chakra, we are understanding the idea, the integration of my voice, my expression is my foundation. What I express, what I communicate actually creates my foundation. Because without being, clear and certain about what I feel and what I want to express, I ain't got no fucking foundation. Because like I said before, if you're not expressing yourself and conveying what you want and what you need and communicating that and allowing yourself to dictate and navigate through life, then what's going to happen? Everybody else's perspective of you will be your dictator of happiness, not you. So we got to understand at this time through our communication and what we vocalize and what we want to express, whatever it is you want to express, if it's a relationship, if it's a job, if it's a career, all these simple dynamics we talk about all the time, it's time to say, I'm taking the risk. And I would say, a risk is when you don't do anything, right? That's obvious. It's a risk when you don't make a movement, you don't make a decision. That's a bigger risk than making the decision to move forward. And so, I always say this is like the Fool card energy, making new beginnings and taking that risk, but also looking where you leap, making sure it's rational. Don't say, I'm going to just quit my job and do something new. Well, make sure you start something new before you quit that job. It's being smart. It's being wise about it. So second week is definitely going to encourage you to speak up. And not just speak up to people, but speaking up for yourself in your own life. I need to speak up. It's time for me to start that business idea. Maybe I want to go to school. I've been wanting to go to school for that. I'm going to go to school for this. I've been wanting to tap more into my intuition and understand what the spiritual psychic ability is and mediumistic abilities. What is that? I want to tap into that. I'm going to speak up for myself and own it, that I have this intuitive abilities. That's second week. Okay. And speaking up about it. And a lot of speaking up could be about you're actually resolving unresolved karma. and you're standing up. So this time might be for a lot of people where unresolved karma starts resurfacing. Those subconscious unresolved patterns start resurfacing where it pushes you to speak up, to close those chapters, which will help you to push you to expand and to manifest what you want because of those blockages have been revealed and you're vocalizing it. You're like, fuck this. Like I never spoke up and told this person go fuck themselves. I'm going to do it. Fuck off. I love you. Have a nice day. Right? And you might find like the unspoken has been lingering for so long. And again, that festers in the subconscious because if you know you're not addressing it consciously, that's on autopilot in your subconscious, well, then it filters your conscious awareness of how life should be. And therefore that keeps that deprivation and you start recreating that in the matrix of energy of this world because that's how you're filtering life to be. So therefore you just meet more of representations of that unresolved subconscious shit. You know, and so a lot of y'all might feel the need just to speak up finally. And put your foot down in certain, especially with legalities. You know, there might be also a lot of resolve legally with like, you know, divorces and custody. There might be where you actually stand up and you have the law working on your side because you're finally speaking up. You're finally allowing yourself to put justice in gear. This is second week. Okay. Utilize these energy currents, guys, because if you don't, then the opposite would happen. If you don't utilize these energy currents and other people be speaking for you, to get so fucking frustrated. It's like, I'm tired of people speaking for me. This is what I feel. Right? I'm tired of being overshadowed. You'll feel that energy like I'm being overshadowed and I'm just tired of being overshadowed. Let me stop. You know, that's if you're not being aware. You'll be pushed in frustration to finally speak your mind and speak up and utilize and clear out the throat chakra. And then understand what your solar plexus, understand your foundation. What is your real foundation? And if you don't speak up for your foundation, you ain't got none. Right? So yes, let's pull some cards for this week too. Energy. All right. Just reading the chats. Love this. It's so amazing. Cards, I mean, couldn't be any more. Interesting. So the first card we got for this second week is High Priestess card. Intuition, baby. Okay. So intuition is you understanding what you feel intuitively with your discernment and allowing it to be expressed, conveying it, right? And understanding, well, that's my foundation. My intuition is my foundation. That's the core. And what the fuck does foundation mean for me? The foundation of what is the actual design of who you are, right? What makes you tick? What doesn't make you tick? And the Four of Wands, it's all about foundation. This is my home life card, Four of Wands. I know it could be marriage too, but that's really grounding energy for me and solidification with the Four of Wands. So seeing the same thing with the High Priestess card. Your internal being is your foundation. And if you keep silencing the internal foundation, you will have issues with the throat, swallowing issues. You'll have issues with your solar plexus. These two have to be aligned. Your throat and your solar plexus chakras got to be aligned. That energy has to be in sync and in harmony. Especially when the second week is going to encourage that. Here we go with the Hangman in reverse again. Second week. And this is interesting because this is all about, again, another turning point and turning thing on its side and understanding, the way I've been viewing life in this physical world is actually the inverted way I should be living. I'm flipping on the spiritual side of the internal core of who I am. The feelings, the emotions, that stuff. And then we got the World card in reverse. So it's interesting because the first week was the world card in the upright. The reverse is saying that it isn't about everybody else right now. The second week, it's not about everybody else right now. Right now, it's the emphasis on your core, your foundation, your voice. It's not about everybody else and how it connects to everybody else right now. That's not so much the importance of the second week because you'll build a foundation, but there's going to be that the fragmentation phase even here to we have to understand, I got to separate from this shit. That's not my identity. This is my identity. So, again, we can take a step forward, take a step to the left or step to the right. This is what we're going to be doing with this dance, within this Leo season. So, especially when Mercury enters Leo August 9th, that's all about the communication. Mars enters Cancer on the 11th, which is all about home life. So that's interesting with the astrology matching even what I was saying here. Your security, foundation, and all that stuff. And especially we have a Leo solar eclipse on the 12th. And so, again, that's new beginnings, right? But that new beginnings is because you made that shift of understanding, where your voice is, where your foundation is. So the astrology matches my psychic read, but also matches the card pulls that we just pulled here too. So that's awesome. Okay, so next we have for week three, okay, is going to be heart and root chakra. So it's about your setting boundaries and also about financial security too. So this is really much heart and root chakra, okay? Because, solar plexus is very much about foundation and security too, but root is kind of like the tangibles, okay? So this is the third week. So this will also put the reality checks in your relationships too. So it will continue on from week 3 to week 4, and so I think this time, the third week, it feels like, okay, the relationships that you have now agreed to, there'll be tests put on them. Okay? Your decisions, the relationship with yourself, the choice with yourself. So those you're not relationship oriented, let's talk about the relationship to things that you have. Your relationship with money, your relationship with your home, your relationship with your family, friends, or whatever the case is, relationship to ideas. Like they will be put to a test. And the only way to really confirm that you're making the right decision is to test them. Okay, and here we're back using the heart chakra again, saying, okay, is these integrations I'm making, are they really solid now? Like, are they proving themselves? So you will have to allow yourself to put things to a test, or even test other things deliberately in that sense, okay, to make sure that you can see tangibly, physically, that these things are manifesting in the right direction. That's why we're talking about the root chakra, because it's about the kind of security, as we say, the understanding of the physical, tangible nature of things really coming together. So in that sense, yes, you'll be saying, is this relationship really showing? Are they showing up? Yeah, they are showing up. Let's see if I text them if they'll respond. Let's see if I actually ask for that positioning if they'll respond. Let's actually see if I'll get the consideration that I need, right? So these things will start falling through. And also, if they don't, you'll be very, very clear as well during this third week too. But most importantly, though, because of the evolution of August, everything's going to show you more confirmation. And it's going to go show you more stability, especially with the ideas at work. If you have ideas in relationships to work and you're saying, well, I'm going to test this new idea and see how it goes because I took the risk in the second week, you're going to put it to test. You'll realize it actually is showing to me that the risk that I've taken is being rewarded. It's actually showing to me that the leap I've taken with relationships is being rewarded, right? And so then you'll start recognizing, now I have the ability to really alter my reality. You start seeing that I'm in control here. I came from the heart. It really gave me the foundation of what I need. I took the risks, I took the leaps and made those changes. And wow, actually they came to pass. And or things that have been marinating for even several months prior will start coming to fruition. And you'll be able to put that to the test too, saying like, these risks that I made, are they proving to be valuable? And you'll start saying, yeah, they actually are. So it's more even about a realization, phase with all this too. So around, you'd say, the 21st of August is Venus opposes Saturn. So that's where the testing energy really comes in, right? With your commitments and if it's being received or not and reciprocated or not. So that will be more revealed to you if they are or not. Again, the negative side of this is that they will go away, or the testing will, definitely improve these relationships, especially with yourself too, and your commitments and decisions. And Virgo season begins on the 22nd. So that's really moving the energy into more of a practical realization. Like I said before, with the root chakra too, it's really saying to yourself, okay, this is really this is evidential of my foundation, the balance, right? The tangibles. And that the third week is a really good time to focus on your finances. It's a really good time to really put your finances in gear. Observe also too, what are you doing with your finances? What are you spending on? What can you invest on? What's coming in? Right? Putting yourself to the test with your relationship with money is a great time to do that in the third week too, and in seeing it come in. So many of you who've done that investment might actually see a big spike in your financial resources in the third week. I also think too, politically speaking, there's going to be a lot of resurfacing of things. Going back to the first week, politically, there might be a lot of resurfacing of older things from the past, resurfacing that haven't been resolving, talking about older ideas or older cases or older things in our culture that haven't quite been resolved, resurfacing, saying, why are we talking about this again? So that'd be like kind of the first week of August as well, even kind of this week into the first week of August. A lot of things resurfacing to gain a closure on, right? Which for this third week, I was saying, will bring the foundation of things moving forward too. And I also see the economy getting slightly better during this third week of August too. So we might see a little bit of a reprieve, not massively, but like a little shift where the economy is doing slightly better. And we have more of a promise, more of a hope of our security when it comes to your home life and your financial life. Like, okay, it's been a very challenging time. I'm starting to feel like things are going back on par. Right. So, So let's look at the cards that I pulled too for this third week. First card is the Lover's card. So again, we're coming from the heart. What do you love? You're putting to a test, and things that, the Lover's card is representation, that harmony, that union. So again, it's not just romantic relationships, it's things in your life as well. The relationships you have with even circumstantial things, you put the test, but solidified. And like I said before, and this is funny that I pulled the Magician card, you will realize during this time, the decisions that you've made or have not made have been rendering your outcome. This will be very obvious to you as you also move into week 3. Very obvious to you. And you'll be saying to yourself, like, shit, maybe I am like dictating this stuff. Maybe all the stuff I'm experiencing, maybe I am creating that. And again, creating reality doesn't mean that you just thought about something and just fucking popped up. It means that you're creating it in the sense of what you're doing with your karma, or either you're evolving from your unresolved karma or you're not. The decisions that you make or don't make are actually rendering the outcomes in your life. You'll start being very clear about that this third week too. I love that the Justice card came out too. It's that foundation card. It's the getting what you deserve in a sense, and what is entitled to you, both bad and good, like I was just saying, and realizing, you know what, if you understand the third week, my finances suck because it's my choices here. You'll start recognizing that the choices that you made, like I said previously, it's fair. Like, yeah, no wonder why I don't have money. I never invested it. Okay. But you'll do something about it. And I love that the 4 of Pentacles comes right after that too, because it's really understanding how to really preserve your wealth, preserve your financial well-being too, and understanding like when things come in, when things start to peak for you or start to rise or start to create a momentum financially, understand how to hold on to it. Understand like in a good way how to preserve those things and building that better relationship with money. So for a lot of people, something might happen to push you in that direction, or if you've already been working on that, you'll see a nice lift, financially for a lot of you guys. But those who have not been doing the work or have been like sitting around, just sitting in your ass, just thinking things are just going to show up because of that manifestation shit, well then guess what? You're probably going to have to learn the hard way, but it'll push you in the direction. Take the callings, take those lessons in a sense. Okay. So in the final week, is we're talking about the crown chakra and third eye chakra for the third week. It's definitely going to be very intuitive, very coming from your intuition, your discernment in this final week. It's all about integration and revelation. So a lot of things will be revealed to in this time frame as well. The revelation of perhaps things that have been unresolved, like I was saying politically, a lot of things will be coming out to the surface in this 4th week of August, and that will give us more discernment. So this is more collective for me on the 4th week when it comes to realization and the integration in a sense. So we'll start seeing more so in our external world the things that we perhaps maybe thought were wrong, now they're confirmed wrong, or we're not quite sure about. That revelation in our external world will be evident in the 1st week, or at least that momentum will be starting in that 4th week. And so I think a lot of people, this is where I've been talking about for the past few months about the crutches being pulled away from a lot of people. This really hits home on this 4th week. Okay. Because, this month of August will inspire a lot of creativity too. A lot of news, a lot of creativity. So within that momentum, we have to clear out our subconscious space of things that are unresolved. And we need the revelation, the tangible realization, the things that we know that have been kind of stifling us, and or things that we've been deprived of or duped by. That's going to be a collective realization. Okay. So Mercury it does enter Virgo on the 25th. So that is sharpening your discernment. And a lot of ways to sharpen your discernment is to have the confirmation of things that you perhaps thought were not right come to the forefront, especially collectively. This can be very more of a collective energy. Okay. And then Mercury meets the Sun around the 27th. So that's bringing clarity to and news and important realization. So the news aspect of this is really, to me, why he also feel like collectively psychically. So the astrology kind of confirms my psychic awareness about like news, but it feels very collective to me. Then we have the Pisces lunar eclipse on August 27th and 28th, and that's of course emotional culmination, a spiritual awakening. So again, when our intuition is confirmed, so those who have already been like kind of psychic, well, your fucking abilities will go through the roof. You'll see synchronicity. You'll be like, those things I hear these spiritual woo-woo people talk about, it's actually happening to me. I'm seeing those signs of synchronicity. I'm seeing these integrative connections. Like I'm also being revealed about the spiritual nature of things too. So don't forget even that type of realization with this final week as well. And Jupiter trines Saturn on the 31st. So that's supporting sustainable expansion and turning inspiration into something tangible, like I said before. So the confirmation that you get for this 4th week with these realizations and revelations in this 4th week is going to be very important, because that confirmation is going to let you feel, again, that, maybe I can trust this intuition. maybe what I saw in the politics and the culture, what I felt is actually, I'm being confirmed on that. I predicted that. You'll be like, I can trust that more. So when you do, because we do need the tangible validations, guys. We need that, especially those who are, learning how to be intuitive and learning how to use their discernment. There's got to be something to confirm it. And, and those of you who've been off will be confirmed that you've been off. And you'll be saying to yourself, maybe I need more discernment, right? Because there's always a duality to everything, right? So let's pull some cards for this final week 2. And then I'm going to do a general summary of August, and then I'll get into live readings. I can't believe this is coming out again. It's so funny. I love how spirit works. Can't make it up, can you? Oh, God. Okay. Amazing. I'm just still shuffling, too. Things are falling here. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Final card pull, which is amazing. Okay, so again, we got the Justice card. I swear to God, we pulled that, I think, I believe the last pull. So that's why I kind of laughed. Again, we'll see justice. Now, justice, again, for the collective, we'll start seeing momentum. Not that things just happen. Not that the Epstein files get confirmed, but like things are happening to like really put it in the obvious, especially with other things from the past. We're seeing a momentum on this now. It's kind of just, it's not too far away. And the Moon card, secrets being revealed, right? Light being shined on those secrets. So especially relationships or people that you've been dealing with. The grifters out there, I love those grifters out there. That's mask is going to make the hardest thud you could imagine. And you might start seeing people crash out who maybe, or, these spiritual phonies, they might start crashing out at this time. Like, whatever they've been hiding comes to light too. So you're definitely going to see that for the we had a full moon in Aquarius, I think 29th. The 29th full moon in Aquarius. Am I wrong on that? But yeah, the things will be revealed. If you're in tune enough, you'll start seeing these grifters and these fake phony leaders start to reveal themselves. If you're looking closely, you could see a change in energy. You could change in personality. Some that are crashing out. So don't get deluded that you love these people so much and like everything they say is so good when they're saying nothing. And I've been observing for several years, like these people are like, one person said, just love yourself. Oh my God, you're so right. Or just like, oh, now's a time of thinking better. Oh my God, spot on. Like, really? Like, how about let's give more meat and more depth and more of a bigger picture, right? So this is where those sorts of people, you might start, and I said the crutches too, is where these things get pulled this 4th week. Those things are going to be revealed. Prepare that your once full-on cult leader is going to reveal themselves as being a cult leader. As someone who came from a cult, who dealt with ritualistic abuse and cult trauma, have a huge, I'm going to say resistance, but I have a huge thing about that shit when I start noticing bits and pieces of people with that and that cult-like mentality. But they'll be revealed, and so that might be harmful for a lot of people. A lot of people might, feel really bad. Oh my God, I invested so much in these people in my life, and now they're not real. But don't let the ideas of what people talk about. So for example, like psychics who scam or are just not good. That doesn't mean psychic ability doesn't exist. Many people think because there are bad people at what they do or scamming the areas of realms that's the realm itself doesn't exist. No, there are a lot of great psychics. A lot of the best psychics are underground, and that's what someone once told me who was trying to put me on social media. Get on social media. I'm like, I don't want to. We're underground. But now we're being called to be in the spotlight because who else is going to replace these fucking stupid grifters? I've been doing it for so long. And these phony balonies, who are, not really living that life, right? And so it might be hard for a lot of you, but understand it's the person, not the industry. It's the person, not the abilities, okay? And again, the 5 of Cups is all about loss. You guys might experience that loss energy during this time too, because you're like, oh my God, like I was duped. Please don't interpret that as loss. Interpret that as like, I know, holy shit. And then go back saying, what would I buy into? right? With political stuff, with culture stuff, with the spiritual stuff, right? I say, God, if I really was like a sensationalist or, a grifter like that, I would have so much fucking followers. And I was actually talking that with a spiritual mentor of mine today. I'm saying like, I really could have all these followers engaged. I said, but, not that I care about that. But if I want to, I would have to be a sensationalist. And, because unfortunately what people want now is to be pacified. And the algorithm will push all that stuff. And so I'm speaking against all of that stuff. So it's kind of like, but that's my heart. That's my soul. That's why I do what I do. Right. And so I'm like, I can be so far off, with all these things. If I just want to sensationalize, I have too much integrity for that. And I think this is what's going to be also in the fourth week too, is like, where's your integrity stand? And are you admiring people around you or letting people do they have integrity? Do you have integrity? Right? That's going to come to the picture. And I love the conclusion of this week. It comes with the 10 of Cups, which we had too with the first week. The 10 of Cups, was that, I don't even remember if it was the first week or the collective read, but it came up earlier today as well too. And that's just saying because of this, we are going to find that harmony with ourselves, people around us, because now we know how to choose wisely. Right? And so, now, in conclusion, let's kind of summarize the month of August as well with Leo season and Virgo season, because, Virgo season is going to be very practical. The I told you so energy is what Virgo season brings. So as being Aquarius with Virgo rising, I understand both polarities of being free-spirited and aloof and original and, not following trends and, and just being an individual. Then I understand what it's like to be practical too and reeling on home with my Virgo rising, right? And so, August is really kind of building secure relationships right now, building lasting relationships, again, with people, with your relationship with your career, relationship with your finances, relationship around you. Like, you're building that foundation. There's going to be a lot of creativity that's going to be fueling with, of course, we're talking about that discernment and intuition, psychic ability. That's all where creativity lies, in the imaginative space. And I always tell people, imagination has a duality to it. One, you receive from spirit, and two, you create for yourself. So the imagination space has a duality. That's why many people say, I don't know if I'm getting messages from spirit or if I'm making it up. It's because it's both in the imagination space. Imagine, meaning God. And so in that space, you could receive or project. Okay, that's your imagination. That's the symbol for imagination. Receive, project. So ask yourself, when you're in the imaginative space, am I receiving this information? Am I receiving this inspiration? Obviously you are. And how can I then project it to turn it to a creative expression? So this is a lot with August is going to also be inspiring with that creative space and the imaginative space, and turning the imaginative space not just into imagination as a thought, into a creative expression, making it tangible with the Virgo season and the Virgo energy. Okay. And it's all about security too. Because like I said, that creative space, heart space does bring security, but really understanding how are you putting your heart space into your finances? Again, with people who are struggling with money, they're just like, I don't have any, I need some. What's that manifestation tool, right? Instead of putting out value to understand the true cycle and the true manifestation formula to making money. And when you put your heart into your money relationship with money, see, as a relationship, are you abandoning your relationship with money? Are you taking advantage of your relationship with money? Are you abusing your relationship with money? Are you complacent with your relationship with money and like ghosting your relationship with money? Or are you putting your heart into your relationship with money? What are you doing? And so the whole manifestation craze should be dead by now. I think people should realize that's a bunch of bullshit, but I still see people with these videos with the hands. If you found this video, it's for you. You're meant to be a millionaire. And there's 1,000 people, amen, with the hands up and saying, how many people keep recycling? Aren't you guys millionaires or not? Still there after how many years? And, it's time to understand the real formula to receiving money and building your own foundation. And that comes from the expression of the heart, because the heart generates value, creates value. And what creates value brings in more value to you, which is also your tangible security when it comes to finances and money and all that great stuff. Laziness does not bring in money. Sitting back and just in wonderment and desire does not bring you money. You're not bringing any value or worth, nor are you saying you're worth anything. So why would you deserve to have more financial, abundance in your life? Doesn't make sense. Snap out of that haze. For many of you, because understanding intuition comes from the heart. It's like, wow, then that's when you start to think things that connect, like, holy shit. Then you start saying, well, that's really how manifestation works. I'm in tune. I know where to go. I know how to maneuver around this matrix of energy. It's like I'm being pulled here, I'm being pushed there. I got it. I'm finding the calling because I understand the core of who I am and what the heart is saying. And so therefore, I'm always connecting with situations and circumstances that align with the heart energy. That's really manifestation. It's just being psychic. It's being intuitive. Knowing where to connect and where not to connect, and where to spend your energy, where not to spend your energy, right? And so where to go to meet the person, where not to go. And so that's what this time is about. And that's why I call August the integration to transformation, because we're integrating, but now we're transforming it. We have the confirmation, we have the solidification of every fucking thing that's going on, and we're connecting the pieces now for ourselves and for those around us, you know. And so so this is the transformation, guys, and it is coming from the heart. It's understanding creativity is what creates value, and that value will be returned to you. And right now, we're in a world of AI. And I'm going to talk about this too, because I think people misunderstand what I talk about AI. There's duality to it. There's a lot of great things and people who are trying to understand AI and how to utilize it to make things better. So there are people we want to encourage to learn about who have spiritual intentions and better intentions for humanity, who are humanitarians, right, in our world. They need to learn. This way, AI is not left to a few corporations to decipher and to utilize, because AI is open. You can download it. It's open to everybody to use and to figure out. So let the people who want to progress with it, especially who have spiritual ideas, let them, encourage them. So we have other people who are leading, who have better intentions to utilize AI in a way that's going to help humanity to progress. Because as AI progresses, I always say human consciousness will too. And so we have to be more discerning and more intuitive inclined to our creative ideas and our soul purpose, so we can actually go in the realms we're intended to be in as things evolve. And AI should support that. But AI has become more intelligent, but there's a lot of us out here in the spiritual communities, we're becoming more wise and more in tune and more discerning and more open to our spiritual connections too, which we will be leading as well. And so that's a wonderful thing of AI. But, you know, for me, when I see people doing like AI music or something, I'm like offended, because I do my music from scratch. For a normal musician like me who does it all, like I'm working on another song, it takes about a month to write, to arrange, to produce, to mix, and to master. I put a lot of that energy into it, and I'm not gonna let anything rob me of that experience. So, when it comes to creative things, it's like there's a give and take to that. And I think people are becoming more discerning what's a human expression versus an AI expression. Thankfully, they now have a tool they can run through a song through, and it'll tell you if it's AI or not. And you'll see all my music is human, which I'm glad they have that, because it can prove, like, I don't use fucking AI on my music. That's my human expression. But I use AI for things for like posters. Like I know Photoshop very well, but it takes time consuming to put a poster out every day and these graphics for the work every day. So I just AI prompt it what to do, use my face, here's my picture. It's so much easier. So it lightens the load on certain things. If you understand what it's good for and what you utilize it for, it cannot replace human expression. It will not replace human expression. It cannot be intuitive. It cannot be psychic. And it cannot do this emotion expression that we have that comes from the soul. That would be very, very more, I would say, wanted and needed. And I think AI is helping people to understand what is real and what's fake now, because a lot of people can see the AI slop and understand that's not going to. We know it just has a feeling to it. Even some of the music, it feels very mechanical, feels very like recycled. The voice is so good, but there's no break and breath to it. It feels, you know what I mean? So people are craving that breath, the human breath of life. So don't underestimate the species. Don't underestimate the human species, because we are desiring. I saw something today which is wonderful. There was like a meme, a guy who helps you with social media and stuff like that. And he's very down to earth. I love him. It's cool. And he showed a meme saying, this is the old influencers, and it showed a Kardashian like in the picture, like taking a selfie with fake lips and all that stuff. And it said, today's influencer. And it showed this older woman who specializes in like psychotherapy or something like that and giving advice. And they had another one where it's, the old influencer, where it's another person with the fake lips and all that stuff. And so today's influencer showed some stay-at-home mom who like wrote 3 cookbooks and specializes in holistic nutrition. Like that's the new the new influencers now. People want realness. And the spiritual communities have been saying for the past 5-7 years about authenticity when they're all fake and grifting. People are starting to distinguish now what real authenticity means. And the real people who are being authentic are, they're not, the lights are not shining light on them yet. A lot are coming out of the woodworks, and they're showing a lot of these even older generations becoming the influencers now. as they should be. They have the wisdom, don't they? And so I think things are shifting. So I'm having faith in the collective, and I'm seeing the collective shift, desiring more heart-focused expressions and less of that superficiality. And guys, stop feeding the superficiality. It makes it easier on you when you have to live up to those superficial expectations. So stop fucking feeding them. Because if you feed those superficial expectations, then you have to live by them too, and that puts stresses on you. And so that, again, the last week of August emphasizes a lot of what I'm saying here too. A lot of what I'm saying here, and I hate the fact that I have to release music and tell people there's no AI. I don't use AI. Like, I'm recording all my vocals. I record my vocals 20 layers to do background vocals harmonies. I'm arranging everything and playing every instrument and mixing and tweaking everything still to this day, and I will continue to do so. Because I think people will feel like, oh my God, I'm actually really feeling all of the human touches in this, and so, so again, there's a fine line with that, and I see people do AI music, and I'm like, I could tell it's AI. It works for, it does its job for certain things, but, I have to be embracing of the progression in certain aspects. Because I was also thinking about, like, even though I've always done my graphic design work with Photoshop and stuff since it's a long time since I started my work. I design my websites, everything I do myself. And I realized, graphic designers, like, how do they feel when people are just now creating their own pictures? So, there's that to me that's painful to me, but we will get to a point, and I will say this as I end, we'll get to a point, and I've said this 15 years ago, I called it a governmental salary. Of course, within the past, I'd say 10 years or whatever, since I think 2016, the idea of universal basic income started to come about into human consciousness. And I said, oh, see, that's what it's going to be called. They're going to have a universal basic income as AI does this thing to integrate as people are kind of like losing their mundane jobs. So then people can really support what's creative, and we're going to be designing more creative and mystical aspects of things in our culture. So that will be very valuable. And so there will be a buffer period, for that, like a universal basic income that will support while AI is doing the mundane job, so that we can survive as things evolve, and then we'll be able to be focused more on creativity, be able to be focused on more of intuition and those ideas. If you're in that direction of consciousness, but if you're not, you'll probably just be eaten up and swallowed whole and dominated by AI. If you don't have any intellect, if you're not integrating or at least being productive member of society or allowing yourself to grow, be more discerning, you'll be just trampled on by AI. It'll outsmart you. And unfortunately, AI is outsmarting a lot of people. Me, my partner, we're correcting AI. I'm like, that's bullshit. It's not how it is. It's not that. I had to reprogram AI. I said, it's not right. And I said, you know what? Why am I going to reprogram tell AI to fix it? I'm not going to feed that. Let it learn on its own if it's that smart, right? So you got to get yourself in the position, guys, like I've been saying before, with this karmic cycle that we're in, the Wheel of Fortune card, we got to understand too that we have to find a purpose that's deeper than what we've been doing. And you better involve yourself with that and come to terms with the soul expression of yourself. This way things progress, you will be on board. You'll see, you'll be able to be discerning. Okay. So this is the state that we're in. We have to stop allowing ourselves being fucking spoon fed by stuff. Like I said before about these modalities, and I even put myself in the mix too. Use these as tools. Right? The astrology, me, psychic readings, human design, they're tools. It's not your fucking identity. Okay? They're tools for you to decide how you're going to make your life better. And in my sessions, again, I feel like there's things with psychics we could do beyond the structure of stuff, and we could read more into things, and but they're all different aspects of tools. You use it to help you to become the better version of yourself, not to pacify, say, what am I getting what I want, or an excuse or reason why things are going shitty for you. That complacency is not going to work in this momentum and where we're at with the timeline that we're on now. It's accelerating. It's accelerating. And we can see it's accelerating. And do you want to be swiped up with this cycle? Go with it. So start again. What have you been resisting on the heart? Stop being vapid. Stop being shallow. Stop being in need all the fucking time. And understand, what are you going to do to express yourself in order to make your life enriched? Period. Done deal. I don't hear any more excuses. Your astrology is not going to tell you that. The manifestation course is going to tell you that. Well, astrology can tell you that. Your directions. But my point is, the tools are there as the tools that get you to realize that. Okay? And please understand, don't put too much emphasis on the tools. Okay? All right. Makes sense. Come from the heart. And I love that we end on to the Judgment card and the Three of Pentacles and the Sun. They just flopped out as putting them away. Judgment card is a spiritual awakening and integrating with the collective with the Three of Pentacles, and the Sun card is you shining bright, you shining from your true essence, and that's the true deal here. It's as simple as that. When you try shining from the core of who you are, the simplicity of manifestation is you attract that energy and you see that energy. Because when you remove those fucking filters off your consciousness and you start shining bright, and the brightness of you shine all those unwanted filters of deprivation, of expectation, right? Because expectations really is just robbing your right to ascend, basically. So ascension is the idea you want to focus on. So your ability to shine bright, then you can see others that you've put the light. Oh, I can see people who are actually, those are the people I wanted all along, you know? So, a little bit of clichéness wrapped in there, but that's cool. Cheesiness actually works sometimes. Sometimes you need a little bit of simplicity. Sometimes you need a little bit of cheese. And right now we need to be very simplistic right now. Okay, that's why you've been seeing me be very simplistic on my messages, simplistic on my topics, because it needs to be. We don't need to be diving deep into all these like spiritual things anymore and diving deep into these mechanics of things anymore. It's not the time for that anymore. We had fun doing that now. Now's the time to be simplistic, real, focus on the heart, expression, creativity, understand the deprivations, and get rid of the expectations. Again, right? Because what I said before, expectations will rob you of your right, steal your right to ascend. Because then you're putting parameters that you think from your brain is where you need to be, but it's all wrong. It's all wrong. Because if you actually are coming from the soul and from the heart, like we were saying before, your list of wouldn't be expectations. They would be things that you know that you're going to fulfill. And there will be things that you understand that's just my direction. It's just my blueprint. That's all. Okay? All right, well, let's get into these live readings now. Simple message. I hope so. Again, simplicity and complexity can remain in the same space, right? So complexity just means dynamic. It just means there's different shades, different colors, and that's what beauty is dynamic. So, but that could still be very simplistic. I like to say, gravity is very simplistic. What goes up must come down, but there's so much variables of gravity that we can utilize that creates dynamic. Right? So, alrighty then. Let's see what we have here. First, everyone's one of the card pulls today, so let's do the card pulls. First is for Katie. Card pull. Hard to beat the heartbeat. He says, yes, exactly. Hard to beat the heartbeat. But, and I had to emphasize, too, heart, because people hear it all the time. It sounds so cliche, right? Like, yeah, come from the heart. It sounds fucking cliche, like, okay, like a bumper sticker, but ask yourself, are you really doing that, though? Have you consciously been aware that coming from the heart and what that means or doesn't mean? Do you understand it, though? Literally, can you see the phrase, coming from the heart? Can you say, I know exactly what that means, I understand the power behind it? Do you know that? Or we've just heard it so much time because, because thanks to social media and a lot of the spiritual bullshit communities, they just post the bumper stickers all around, but they don't really emphasize what it means. And so we're like, yeah, I heard it before. Yeah, okay, coming from my heart. But do you understand that? Do you know it? Because when you really process that and you understand what it's like to come from the heart, like, holy shit, but it's a different story now, right? Things are different now. So, and this is coming from, like I said, an Aquarius and Virgo rising. So, I had to understand I really had to master, the idea of being aloof, detached, but also being grounded, and allowing myself to be in my head when I need to be in my head, being my heart when I need to be in my heart. So, like being Aquarius and Virgo rising has been a huge, I would say, great point of balance for me to learn in my life. Right? And I'm very analytical, but I'm also very free to express. And I also understand, well, I'm not going to stop. And here's the 3 overthinkers out there. You're not going to stop overthinking. So stop trying to beat that characteristic out of you. You're not going to stop overthinking. That's part of your nature. Embrace it. But the thing you have to understand is, like, in which facet am I thinking? Because what rabbit hole you're getting yourself involved in? Oh, I'm just thinking about lack and deprivation. Oh, I don't have a job. I don't have a career. I don't have the relationship. I don't have a relationship. I'm alone. So is that helpful? Maybe you have to learn how to overthink. Perhaps overthinking in ways to make yourself better, to make your life better, and to express yourself will be a better, more productive way of overthinking, and that will work in your favor. So all these people like, oh, but I just, these characteristics of who they are, and I'm going to say this again, there's a duality of a characteristic of who you are. You can overthink, but there's an empowered version of that and a disempowered version of that. Are you thinking overthinking in a way that's disempowering? Or you think in a way that's overly beneficial for you. And that could also be too extreme. Like, oh, everything's in your favor and you become arrogant. How about the balance of, you know what? I can decipher a spectrum of possibility in my life. And yeah, this might go wrong over here, but if I do this might go better over here. Let me start processing this. Boom, your overthinking has become your best asset. Right? Your best asset. But some people, I just overthink so much and become imprisoned to that. And they don't do anything with that ability to overthink. They just let it just stay in the negative. Oh, I don't know what to really do with it. You're not going to get rid of that characteristic. Those who are sensitive, you're not going to get rid of that characteristic. You will always be sensitive. But again, there's a duality to that sensitivity. Are you being empowered with that sensitivity or disempowered? Where everything's all about you all the fucking time and you're so fragile. Or you're so sensitive to where you feel emotions and it's really all about you, but in a positive way, and you're helping people too much because you're so sensitive and you're being discerning, but you're helping me too much. So let's bring it in the middle. Yeah, you know what? Like I'm thinking about myself and what I need, but also thinking about what others too. I'm finding the balance. Which extreme are you at with the characteristics? You're not going to get rid of them. You have to alter how you're expressing them and understand the power of that characteristic and how to utilize it in a way that's balanced for you. That's the point here, right? And so, this is what we have to understand. And I've mastered it as a I'm still pulling the cards for Katie, by the way. I just got derailed. I've been trying to really emphasize this a lot more too, because we have to understand our characteristics and how we utilize them, because that's going to be the best of who we are, those characteristics. Oh, wear my heart on my sleeve. It's like, oh, it's good that you're open with your heart, but are you using your heart for yourself too? Are you allowing yourself to protect it, being that you can give it away? Like, that's another extreme. So how about let's bring it centered. Let's bring the balance of that and stop trying to change the fact that you're sensitive or caring and start caring about yourself and understand the duality of that. And again, with the astrology, love astrology. I've worked with astrologers the past 3 years, and I love the confirmation. It's wonderful. But some of y'all have taken it too far. Oh, well, my such and such is such and such, and this node and this thing, and so I can't really do. It's like, that's an explanation, a blueprint. You can utilize it in other aspect of the spectrum too, and say, okay, well, if this such and such is in your such and such degree, I mean, this is conjoined with this, things are not, people are not going to communicate with me. Perhaps it's not about people not communicating with you and you being robbed of communication. That's the fact of you trying to, master communication and understand and handle those communication indifferences. Not like, oh, I'm stuck with this because this planet's here. It's like, no, that's telling you the chapter, the phase of focus. I have people that are like stuck in this regimen of the characteristics because their sign said so. It's like, you're probably reading it all wrong and you probably don't have the right astrologer interpreting it for you. It's identification where your assets are and what needs to be emphasized through whatever challenges are. Let's get real here with this shit. Everyone has to wait for the planets and wait for the planets, wait for the planets. Like, actually, no, they do kind of maneuver based on our collective consciousness. And they alter too, based on our collective consciousness as well. And things will shift. Look at the bar balls basket thing. This whole important. Did anything special happen during that time? Eke and I called blue balls basket. Gave everyone blue balls, so saying like, oh my God, we're anticipating this big release. What happened? Nothing. Same old, same old. Now, are these important times? Yes, absolutely. These are important times. But it's a cycle. It's an evolution. It's a process. Just like the fucking the 888 fucking was it portal? The 888 portal. Lionsgate bullshit, which we're going to hear again this year, when it's never really aligned with our astrology with Leo. And isn't 888 more about numerology? More stupid shit. Manifestation portal. And then I see people like, something's happening. We got to get our heads out of our asses, Delulu bullshit, and understand, let's look at the bigger picture here. What's my karmic evolution and what's a collective evolution? How do I align with that? And how I also maneuver with it as I'm growing, as a collective is growing too, because I'm part of the collective too. And obviously everything is being infiltrated in our collective consciousness for a reason, because it's showing you this is where we're at as a species. We're evolving and we need to do things differently. Why is that in my focus lately? Why am I hearing that a lot lately than I used to? Because you're in the age of Aquarius, baby. Pluto's in Aqua now for a while. So you're going to start being forced to think about what's best for humanity. So, I mean, I call that fucking Lionsgate thing. I was like, when I first heard about it, and I wasn't like an astrologer, but I'm like, psychically, this feels bullshit. Like, this is all like, no, this doesn't feel right. And the timing is different then than it was now, different calendar systems. So I had to look it up and look up the chart myself. Like, it's not even, it was like last year's aligning Cancer, not Leo. I mean, I'm not so proficient in astrology. I know my basics on astrology, marking points collectively, but I'm like, come on, like this, I knew there's something bullshit about this crap. You know, every day is a portal. Okay, everything's a time to manifest every day. Stop waiting for this bullshit. Right? Okay. Let's get back to, I almost put it away. Let's back to Katie Wright's read now. Every time is a time to manifest if you're making the realization of evolving, period. Take your astrology chart and say, okay, if there's problems here, that's something I need to work on. It's not a problem. It's a focus in my life that I need to emphasize in my life. Cool. That's what's going to be mastered this lifetime. That's how it's supposed to be taken. And if you come to me, I'll let you know all that shit, you know. But good astrologers will tell you that. Good astrologers will know. They won't be like, you know, oh, well, you're kind of shit out of luck here because of this. They'll let you know, here's your purpose, here's your destiny, here's your focus, here's what could be changed, how you can utilize the energy at this moment in time. You know what I mean? Like, that's what good readers would do. All right. Katie, you got a lot of spreads. Make it quick. Card pulls are simplistic, not full on reads, just kind of energy to focus on at the moment. And that's what I'm going to be very clear about as those who are no. Okay. My mom's like, you're passionate with your potty mouth, always with my potty mouth, because we need to understand how to ground, guys. All right, the potty mouth is saying, like, you know, stop having these expectations of how you're supposed to present yourself. Just be real with yourself with positive intentions when using your heart. If you say fuck 5 times, 10 times like I do, then that's is what it is. We need to understand how to be comfortable in human expression without the ideas or expectations how it's supposed to look. Let the heart express itself the way it needs to if it's coming from the right place. Who cares about the language, right? So that's why I kind of let it flow more so in my life, just to make that point as an Aqua, as you're just rebels at heart, obviously. All right, okay, sorry, Katie. So, Katie, first you got the Death card with the Lover's card, and also the Five of Swords again. So this is about talking about you need to like be introspective in your ideas about relationships. You need to be introspective also about, you know, who you're giving your time and space to, and people who are taking time from you or don't have your best interests at stake. You know, and this is time to like come out of your shell. This is time to really come out of your shell and understand, embrace, you know, the energy, the momentums that you're in now when it comes to your relationships, because the Ten of Cups saying this will end up in a very positive way. Okay, in a very positive way. So if you're working on your relationships right now, Katie, it's good. That means it's going to work out. You'll find a very harmonious connection with your relationships externally. So I think you're on track for that, it's saying. But you're kind of doing the process of understanding like who's fake, who's phony, who's not, who is. Kind of like what we're saying about this month is really the time for that too. And it's being really revealed about who has had your not best interest at stake. So it might be a specific relationship right now too. But also allowing yourself to come out of your shell and say, like, you know, I'm going to speak up against these relationships. Kind of what we're saying with August energy, which is great. You're in part of that. But the Ten of Cups coming saying like you will find a very content energy with your relationships. So I think that's a really good resolve. Okay. All right. Remember, card pulls are simple, guys. You have a specific question you want. That's be more specific, more in tune. Card pulls are simplistic. That's why they're so cheap, and that's why they're so a card pull. A card pull. Okay. Interesting. Oh, okay. So I don't know, Colleen, if there's like a legal issue going on, but that's about to be lifted. So whatever legality, because you got the Ace of Pentacles here with the Ten of Swords in reverse, which is, you know, you not being defeated with this financial, and the Justice card. So something with, and this Justice card has been coming out a lot tonight, guys. So you look at the similarities and parallels of cards coming out. So clearly there's a financial issue. There's going to be some relief on. You're not going to be defeated unless you will find the justice in whatever this financial avenue is. Okay. And so I love that the Ten of Swords is in reverse. So that means that you're not defeated here. Okay, this is not the end. So whatever this legality is financially comes to a better positioning for you and or a resolve. And you'll have again with the Justice card to be very balanced and fair and what you're entitled to. Okay, I feel like this is something from the past, but if it's not, then something new comes in. Understand that if something does come in that nature financially, that it'll be resolved. You will not be defeated on that. Okay, it'll go in your favor in that sense. But it feels like this feels like more like a resolution for me, on that sense. Beth has a question. Beth says, "There's an older gentleman who is romantically pursuing me. Is he who he claims to be? He says he's an attorney. I think his brother was for sure. He also claims to be divorced. Is this all true?" Yeah. I think it's somewhat true. I think he's kind of divorced. I think he's kind of an attorney. So it feels like it's true, but it feels like kind of. So maybe he's an attorney, but not practicing. Or he's an attorney that really didn't do so well, or is not doing so well. Like, so it's like, you know what I mean? And he's divorced, but not, but there's still like a lingering energy. So there's like an in between, you know what I mean? There's a measure in between of that. So yeah, but I would be very, very cautious, because I feel like he does ride the coattails of his brother or the coattails of other people, and may exasperate things more than what he is. There's truth to it, but he's exasperating more of that energy, I feel like, with this person. So I would kind of proceed with caution with this, because it feels like, I feel like this person's life is probably in a crumbling position or a spiraling down position too. So he might be very needy, or at some point need some money, in that sense. So I would avoid this person. There's truth, but massive embellishment, exaggerations to the truth that they provide, that they express. So no bueno on that one. Okay, Beth? All right. I love seeing the questions because they're a lot easier and simplistic and more to the point. Hi, Scott. Hope you're doing fantastic. You too, Anna. Hope you're doing amazing as well. I decided to go to massage therapy school next month. Any insights for me, please? Grazie. No, I think that's a great position. I think that would work well for you. I don't think you'll stay in that. Well, let me clarify. I think you'll evolve it or merge it, because it's shown that you might evolve it more into Reiki and doing more Reiki work in that sense. I also feel too, like it's good to do massage school, that you also have an interest. There's a few interests that will come about. I'm seeing. Massage therapy school is great to get yourself positioned. Like, hey, I'm learning, I'm taking clients. Like, it's good. There's gonna be two interests that might come about: acupuncture and hypnotherapy. So you might maybe I want to do like hypnotherapy too, or even do Reiki. Maybe you'll do some Reiki from some massage therapy. And they're like, I want to do hypnotherapy. So there's gonna be some changes and fluctuations, and I think it'd be great if you actually do know how to do all three. Being certified in Reiki is not a very extensive process, and I don't think hypnotherapy is either. I'm not sure about that, but you'll feel inclined to do those different aspects on top of it. But they're saying that the massage therapy and doing that practice right now will kind of bring more of a foundation for that and more of a jump start into those other modalities. So it definitely is a good path for that. A good starting point for sure. And it does match you well. Even doing massage therapy and doing that nurturing movement with the body. There is something that will be very nurturing for you too in the process. So I think that you've selected wisely. Many people select those professions and they don't match with it. I think you match with this, but it's definitely going to expand those other modalities I was saying before, because I think you're going to want to do something deeper, more energetic. And I think even the hypnotherapy, you'll start doing maybe past life regressions or something of that nature too, which would be kind of cool. So yeah, there's a lot that stems from this path, Anna. That's bueno. Okay. Brandy Ansley, you got a card pull. Yes, KTW, absolutely. Absolutely. Interesting what we have here. I just dropped the card and I lost it. The Four of Wands came out too for her, but I just lost it. So maybe it's not meant to be there then. Okay. Sometimes I pull these cards like I'm playing poker. I'm like, all right, Brandy, really simple for you. focuses on relationships. So Lover's card got pulled for you, so focus on relationships. The Death card came about too, which is all about transformation. And with the Eight of Cups coming in, it's like you're leaving something behind. So perhaps this is more about emotionally leaving, a location and or, past energy behind, just walking away to benefit the relationship. And I think the relationship is creating a lot of this transformative, energetic, emotional energy within you. And the Four of Wands came in and came out. The Four of Wands is my home card. So perhaps there's like a talk about moving. I got the moving card too, which is the Six of Swords too. This is all about a move and travel as well. So I feel like there will be travel, but the move feels secondary to travel. I think that when the Four of Wands came out, then went back in the deck is saying like, it's not the time to move now, it's the time to move later. Like there will be a move, but it's just not now. You know what I mean? And but there would probably be more travel. But this relationship that you're in, this love energy that you're in this motion of, it's bringing a new transformation. It's definitely bringing a new paradigm for you, and it's time to really emphasize that new paradigm. And just walk away from the outdated things of the past. Walk away from those outdated things of the past. But again, that's very much the Death card is like transformation. That's a newness card for me. So that's good. All right, moving on. We have Andrea, card pull for Andrea. And finally, after how many months? About a year now, living to my word and trying to do easy breezy with the card pulls. Managed to do way too much with the card pulls. Now I'm being very simplistic. I'm going to make him even more simplified because I feel like the people who pay more for a direct question get less. Card pulls have to be, I would say, with the cohesive with the costs. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Interesting on this, because psychically, sometimes the card pull up, I don't feel it psychically, but it means something else. Good, awesome. I should be putting your comments on the screen. I forget to. The validations. So I'll remember now. Yeah, there. Thank you, Branding, for that. Yes, it better make sense. Otherwise, I need a new career, or need to issue a refund. But yes, I should be putting. I forget. I'm a one-man show. I forget to put the comments up on the screen that so you guys can see the responses to the reads. This way you can see. Okay, for Andrea, we got the five of Wands, Wheel of Fortune, and the Ace of Pentacles. So what this reading for me just psychically is you're probably immersing yourself too much with conflicting ideas when it comes to your work life and conflicting ideas of what you should be doing or not doing. And the moment you stop listening to the peanut gallery and the noise and the conflicting information, that's when things, the cycle will change for you. And so with the Ace of Pentacles is really talking about making money in the things that you understand is beneficial for you on the heart level, like we said for August actually, and finding ways to implement that in. Right. And understand that it's the confliction and the distortion of those conflicting ideas and competitive ideas is what actually has been holding you back all along. But you're in a position right now with the Wheel of Fortune saying you're actually in betwixt that change of cycle right now. And that will be focused on, your financial rewards when it comes to what you're putting out and what you're expressing with your skill sets and trades and so forth. So it's a good time for that right now. So again, put the conflicting information that conflicts with what you want aside, because you're in that new cycle. So we're forced to say you're definitely in that new cycle of change, and that will be showing you more financial prosperity. And again, when I say financial prosperity, it doesn't mean it comes out in one moment. It means that you start seeing, oh wait, I'm making more money now again, or my ideas are rendering great financial success and rewards, and so you start seeing that momentum. And you start realizing, okay, I'm actually finally listening to my heart. And my initial discernment is actually paying off, right? And so that's what you're going to be experiencing more of. So, but that's exciting. And looking at these reads is a lot of your reads are very much almost like I am repeating the collective message for August. So even those who are watching who are not getting reads, like pay attention to the messages of these reads. They are fitting in actually with the collective reads for August. Of course you're feeling that because you're in tune, right? So keep doing what you're doing with that, though, Andrea, because the Wheel of Fortune card is really the epitome of like this new cycle beginning and leaving that shit, the distortion, even like past like from father bullshit and upbringing, that stuff, conflicting ideas of who you are from your upbringing. I feel like you're releasing a lot of that shit too, or have, in that process. So good for you on that. All right, next we have Caroline Hires. Something's telling me that you like Dunkin' Donuts. I'm kidding. I'm seeing it on your your last transaction was Dunkin'. So I should have said that. I see you. Something's telling me that you need to stop having Dunkin' Donuts, Caroline. Okay. And stop being generous with gas money or driving people around. Because the second transaction is gas symbol. That'd be funny. It's too vapid. All right, just shuffling for Caroline Hayes. Some of these emotional reads, some of them are tangible reads, some of them are interesting. I'm trying to figure out who the Empress represents. Is it you or some other person? Well, you got the Justice card. So there's a legality. How many times does this Justice card come out this and with the collective reads and now with even with reads? How many times does this card come out this tonight? A fucking lot. And so we should be celebrating this too, because things are finding its position. So for me, there might be a legality with you, Caroline. And the Empress card is I don't know if this is, I'm trying to decipher if you or Mother Energy or someone that's in charge of or assisting with this. Could be an attorney too. Someone's assisting with this balance of justice or coming to the table. Perhaps it's two things. Maybe you're finding some justice with the Mother Energy that you had maybe resistance on, that you put that in perspective and find the balance with that. And there's a situation legally that comes to play that works in your favor. Right. The Knight of Wands is someone coming in. It's a very emotional card, but it's also my card of creativity. But I also feel like that someone comes in to help you with this situation that you might be a part of. There's someone that comes into, you'll have some support regarding this legality or this balance in a sense. And there's also this Sun card that's saying that, again, the Sun card came out a lot today too, but that's very simplistic of like, you will be shining in the end. Right? Things will be fulfilling in the end. So this is kind of more of an emotional read, but there seems to be some sort of legality and or injustice or imbalance. And if it hasn't happened now, it will happen. And it obviously works in your favor and you have support for this. But there's also Mother Energy that comes out that needs some like balance or some justice on. It could be like some emotional deprivation with the Mom Energy. I think you'll find the resolution for that emotionally too. How to put this Mother Energy in the proper place for you from the past and currently. Okay. So there's a lot of this month for me, for you, Caroline, feels very emotional. But finding the resolve, almost like you'll start seeing the karma of those around you start paying due, but yeah, I mean, it's a good time for this. And whatever this legality is, it really, there's a lot of assistance on this. Okay, see, I'm remembering now to put them on the screen. Oh, yes, there. So her. It's always a stepmom, huh? It's always her. Awesome, perfect. Great balance for you. Name is Caroline. Great balance for you. And again, recognition this month. I would even say it starts this week, Caroline, for you. Like good recognition, like almost like, again, you get to say told you so energy this month. Told you so. So a lot of vindication, a lot of validation, primarily too, emotionally too. And perhaps maybe the maybe the Knight of Wands is actually your husband supporting you on this, right? Maybe he actually says, you know what, I see what you're saying, or I understand you. So maybe that's the Knight of Wands is actually your husband coming through. And being, because that's emotional. So that could be true if it's a partnership. Don't we all? As a psychic, I must say that I have a lot of I told you so moments, but it sounds arrogant. I'm just like, I hate that I have to say that because I want people to understand the psychics are saying things now when they're saying it, but I understand. Let's fiance two of. Okay, so perhaps there's someone that comes in though that assists. Okay, so the Knight of Wands feels emotional, so perhaps it might be someone that comes in emotionally. So maybe you meet a partner this year. It feels like someone with support. Okay, like I was saying initially, my initial read, feel like someone coming out to support you during this time. So you might meet someone that will help you support you emotionally during this. So I'll go back to my initial read instead of trying to fit it in what you're saying. But yeah, someone will come in to support you because it's an emotional card, and someone comes up with a purpose and it's very inspiring. So I feel like someone will come in to support, and it's a male energy, obviously. So I'll stick with my initial read on that. Okay. A lot of these I'm like clapping. I'm like, good, I'm good, guys. Good stuff. Oh, glad, because you never know what you're going to see. Sierra Folcom, pull that card, baby. Baby boat. Does boat mean something? I know there's God of all things. What does B mean? Is that the bitch of all things? Yeah, but you'll be vindicated, my love. You'll be vindicated. And perhaps your and I'll say this for those watching, a lot of times when we go through emotional situations, that vulnerability opens us up to attracting love. And sometimes it needs a kick in the nuts to get emotional, to allow ourselves to be open enough for someone to come in, so we're not blocking ourselves and being like, I feel with you, I have to go back to your name, Caroline. I feel with you like you've allowed yourself to be in charge of a lot of things in your life. And I think that you have to understand that doesn't make you allowing of people to come in to support you just because you're in control of doing things for other people all the time and navigating all the time. Like, that's not welcoming people in. That's just keeping you locked in with people. So you being emotional might be the thing that welcomes in this new partner, this new person of support. It might start that way too, as support. Okay, so allow the emotional stuff to be actually a catalyst for this. Okay, back to boat. Got it. Boat is your new thing. Got it. I'm like, are you saying I'm a boy of all things, or a bitch of all things, or a bastard of all things, or what does this be? Boat, because I think of goat, God of all things. But all right, it's your YouTube name. Gotcha. Let's pull, baby, pull. There's a lot of mystical energy coming about here too. You know, a good tarot read, a good tarot read requires a good psychic. That, you know, because otherwise cards can be because these cards can go so many different directions. Like the Devil card can go so many different directions, and you got to be psychic enough to know which direction it's going in, especially in these type of circumstances. But you got the Devil card. But this is Devil card saying to me that you need to practice more, understand more of, I don't say occult energy, but energy harvesting, energy manipulation, how to utilize Earth's elements to shift and shape energy. And this is also with the Seven of Cups as well. It's basically talking about using your imaginative space and using the integration of the mysticism, the things that people might call delusional, but bringing that in to say, actually, I'm using this insight that I have to like ground it into like more of a physical practice somehow. Right? But taking your time at that. So this might, you know, with the Eight of Pentacles too, or Eight of Wands coming in, it's saying it requires its time and nurturing for it too. So it's also like in time, you'll understand what we're saying with this mystical ability and understanding how to use like physical elements to manipulate the energy and bring what's kind of not tangible into tangible reality. Because, you know, Eight of Wands is also bringing something, making things very concrete too, and coming up with a purpose as well. Find a coven, I love it. And the Star card is obviously you being the center focus of this, but you know, the Star card is actually utilizing that energy of that vibrancy of mysticism and bringing that in, because you have you have past life cult energy. Occult energy, not occult energy, which doesn't necessarily mean also all negative and evil. Occult energy is very much talking about how to utilize and manipulate energy and utilizing the physical components to do so, or summoning certain levels of consciousness and streams of consciousness it's understanding the totalities of such. Now, you could do that specifically, or like I just say spirit in general, right? Because I'm a medium, so I can know how to really, you know, blend and mix in the spiritual energies. And so understanding how to like bring that mystical energy into a tangible form. And the Star is like you being the forefront of this, right? And understanding that kind of occult like energy, how your, you know, tone and frequency is something else that you utilize to bring in and express, to like shift and shape energy, manipulate energy, right? I love to do it with my music and shift and shape energy with my music. You know, in a way, you know, and taking an energy and putting it into motion. So there's a level of occult energy, mysticism behind that will push things in gear, and letting the time to understand that merging process with that. You know, and but the Star card is going to say you are the practitioner, you are the person in front, right? So, but you have occultist energy from your past incarnation. So you understand the process of the energetic alchemy, embed that in your work. Okay. Okay. Says, I'm a musician and a teacher, so that makes sense. Oh, I just used an example of music of my sense. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, but you have to integrate this, evoke this mysticism, and understanding how to really harvest and manipulate energy through these practices and so forth. I wouldn't be surprised if in the long term you become more mystically focused too. Okay, good stuff. Okay, and then we have a last but not least a question from, again, like a lot of these like individual reads are like so on par with the energy currents this month, you know. So a lot of you guys are on the right track. Most of us will be on that track. You'd have to be a complete imbecile and idiot to not be. Like where you're so delulu and sitting on your couch and like, why isn't things changing? One of those types of people, but I don't attract those types of people, which is why my numbers are so low because I don't sensationalize. So most of you guys are those types of people who actually want to do the work, are hungry to like engage. So y'all very much on the same course and taking advantage of these currents. So good stuff. I'm glad to see these reads actually. Okay, Linda House, thank you for all you do, Scott. Well, thank you. Thank you for showing up, Linda. I appreciate that. Okay, my question is, I keep bouncing around with creative energy and wanting to write more, wanting to focus on my YouTube channel. Do you see anything regarding this chaotic energy? I love that you said chaotic energy because I tell people all the time, chaos doesn't necessarily mean it's all bad. Like, again, winning the lottery could be very chaotic, but like we would love that. We could do a lot with that chaotic energy, right? And so let me see in regards to the writing and YouTube channel and see what the message is there. I want to. I most point want to see where it's expanding into. I think that's where I want to give you the blueprint of this because it's not just about the writing and YouTube channel. It's like where is that expanding to? You know. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I think this is definitely a starting point because they're showing me like tangibles. I'm trying to see what kind of tangibles they're talking about. The writing will evolve into something very tangible and almost like it might appear at the moment shtick to you. Like, it doesn't really shtick, but why do people like this? Like, for example, it could be like you develop these really kind of impressive, amazing quotes someone's heard before, and you're putting it on a mug or you're putting it on, you know, something, you know, or a card or something. Like, it's going to evolve in something tangible that you realize, God, that was so stupidly simple. You know, something of that nature. So a lot of what they're saying is, and I love that the devil card came out again for this, is like the tangibles, the dense stuff, right? The physical stuff. So perhaps focus on creating some sort of merchandise in conjunction to this writing and the expressions that you're doing. Think of a tangible, think of a merchandise. It'll come to you. That's what they're saying. They're showing. So, yeah, so the writing is definitely going to be the catapult to that. If you think about writing and YouTube channels, like I'm writing something, creating something, I'm also expressing something. So how can we take that expression and turn it tangible into something? That's where it's going. So yeah, please continue with that and let the chaotic energy be the inspiration of what you're writing and conveying clearly, right? That's where most inspiration comes from, is from the chaos. So write about it, put it into something, put it into motion with that. Okay. So I like the progression of this too, but they're saying, think of tangibles, think of merchandise, think of something that's like so stupidly simple that just comes to you, you know, and they're saying that could potentially be very successful actually, because they're showing like you selling this stuff. I'm like, okay, go with it. Don't sabotage that either. Okay. Let me just double check my PayPal. I know, right, Kate, the freaking devil card. So I think that'll refine. So keep going where you're going on that though, Linda, okay? Like go in that direction and keep what I have in mind as a way when that opens up inspiration, you wouldn't deny it, okay? Just gotta check my PayPal real quick and see if we're concluding here. But yeah, people misunderstand the devil card all the time. It's like, it could be you're bound to something physical or something's holding you back, or you need to focus on something more physical. So that's why I use my psychic read to kind of to determine to which aspect that it's requiring, because everything has a duality to it. You know, so yeah, let me just see my, sorry guys. For some reason, PayPal, I have 2 accounts on PayPal. Like sometimes logging in is like such a fucking process in 2026. Like, oh yeah. I would think that logging into things and apps would be so much easier in 2026. I feel like it's more cumbersome lately than when we had, remember AOL? I mean, that's really showing my age. the modem. Remember all that? It's called AOL because then after a while, it's just like, you know. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to log into my PayPal account here. God. Sorry. Okay, good. We have no PayPal ones. Fantastic. So we did all the Venmo. Awesome. So readings are closed. We're good. Let me just do a closing here, and we'll conclude on this wonderful, wonderful time we shared together tonight. Let's get rid of that. Bam! It's out of there. You've got mail. File's done. Remember that? What was the other ones? Welcome. You got mail. Goodbye. And then file's done. I remember that one so much. I was just downloading stuff. To download a picture in AOL was like this. Remember? Download a picture, a whole like 50 kilobytes of a picture. It's okay. Well, guys, a lot of information for August. So, you know, I think it's going to be a great time, you know, with August. We'll see a lot of nice breath of fresh air, you know. And if you guys have been following me for a while and been keeping up to date and up to par with each month's energy forecast, try to package it, you know, in a way, because I think it's good to give the astrology, but then give my psychic insights of it too, and give it more depth to as well. What we see and how it kind of affects other aspects of it, other avenues too. So, you know, I think that's what I'm going to start doing my collective reads that way too. I'm going to do my psychic assessment first, then have the astrology, you know, laid out for that too, and understand the collaborations of such, and then also the card pulls I will do. Some astrology I just know, but some I don't know. So I have as like I keep it as a list. So I'm just like, okay, and then I'll reflect back on it, because I like to validate different aspects, different tools, right? And so, like when I do my one-on-one readings, my private readings, like I definitely do my automatic writing, I do my assessments, and then when I'm done with that, then I'll pull cards to confirm. So my one-on-one reads get like the confirmation, 2 confirmations on things. So I like that, especially when I make an assessment. It's like, let's pull these cards, and the cards, you know, kind of do what I said. I love that. But yeah, manifest that shit on 8/8. But look, hey, you know, again, 8/8 still, you know, numerology, 8s are great. 8s are great. 8. You know, 8s are a very powerful number in numerology. So it's really more so about numerology. But, you know, we have those kind of dualistic, you know, numbers every month. We have a 3/3, we have a 4/4, a 5/5, a 6/6. You know, we have that all the time. So I just these crazes and these trends that spiritual people like to make money on and repeat and parrot. You know, please understand. Understand where the reality sits in with that, guys. You guys should be seeking now, not so much of what spiritual modality is going to pacify or confirm you. Say, what spiritual modality is going to challenge me? What spiritual modality is going to challenge me, or at least allow me to be more insightful, more in tune to my intuition and to what is real? I need that, you know, modality to help. And so, so you guys should be seeking more of that out. You know, I hope that, I mean, this is what I try to bring to the table too. I don't try to, that's what my intention is, because I have to put myself in check a lot too. And I had to put myself in check a hell of a lot when I fell down a rabbit hole, a lot of spiritual ideologies that were just like crap, you know. A lot of it's truth wrapped in lies, or truth wrapped in misinformation. And so I had to put myself in check a lot, which is why I'm like, oh, I know how easy it is to fall into those things, even as someone who's intuitive. It's easy to but I understand I had to experience that. So that's why I also want to help you guys to be your guardrails, to make sure you guys aren't falling in the deep ends of those things either, in those trenches and getting lost in there, which is my main passion. That's my main passion, actually, you know. And now on social media, like I'm realizing there's people just parroting shit. And, you know, I mean, I've been realized this for a while. Like, for example, like when it hits home, like I saw this one guy posted a video, you know, like it was very fitting of me. He he fell down the stairs and he's dead. And he's like, I'm dead, but I have OCD was a title. And then he's like dead and there's shoes next to him. Then he just like fixes his shoes as he dies. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's my OCD. But I'm thinking, then I start seeing hundreds of, like, well, not hundreds, but many other people doing the same thing the same exact way. And I'm like, oh, people just repeating crap. You know, people repeating crap. So we don't need any more regurgitation of information. We need to be taught and shown how to process and how to get yourself out of a fucking paper bag, at least, right? So look for those things, and you could tell the phonies from the fakes, guys. People just repeating information or just, parroting shit they heard from someone else, versus who's authentically coming up with their own stuff. And also, for me personally, I'm not trying to toot my horn here, but I've expressed things from my own experience of my education and my knowledge and what I've learned with understanding psychology, but also our soul evolution by being a mystic since I was a kid, right? So, anyways, guys, have a wonderful weekend. I appreciate all you guys. You're all amazing. It's going to be a wonderful August. Allow things to lift, but also be very determined to be very picky and decisive. Be vocal, be creative, be discerning, be intuitive, be all those things, and August will be a wonderful, wonderful journey, okay, with Leo and Virgo season. And I will see y'all, I think it might take off next week, I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know. I might take off, I'm just not sure yet, but I'll let you guys know if I take off next week. But for now, I'll keep you posted. Check out my other YouTube videos. Oh yeah, and August, I opened up August yesterday or the day before August. So August is open for booking. ScottCruzPM.com. Book a one-on-one session, book a one-on-one reading with me, life readings, mediumship sessions if you want to connect with someone who's crossed over. I've also Intuition Builder session 2, which is also if you want to tap into your own abilities, where they lie, how to personalize you to expand those things as well. ScottCruzPM.com. August bookings are now open, so book your reading with me there. And if not, catch me on YouTube. How should I close? What should I close with? Let me see what I have here. I think I'll close with my latest infomercial. CRDR. I'll close with that. Good night, guys. Much love. Talk to you. See you soon. Remember to grow all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. Are you or your loved ones suffering from CRDR like this? Even though I have absolutely no game plan, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire in the next 6 months just by visualizing. Because as all the YouTube videos say, I'm worth it. Or like this?
Even though he's straight and he's gone to prison for gay bashing, I can see us together. Super cute. So I'm going to go up to him directly and I'm going to ask him out. Because I'm worth it.
Or how about like this?
Even though I'm 60 years old and have absolutely no rhythm and a butt as flat as a pancake, I'm visualizing my inner Kardashian coming out. So I'm quitting my job and I'm going to twerk my way to the top because I'm worth it.
Are you or your loved one suffering from the creating reality despite reality syndrome? Well, hi. I'm Scott Cruz, psychic medium and mentor, and I'm here to help. Help you bring your deluded thoughts into actual reality, putting the I am, the I'm into possibilities, helping you to avoid decades of delusion, as well as making very fatal mistakes.
It's okay! I can alter gravity with my mind!
So visit ScottCruzPM.com and find out what your impossibilities are.
Hello, this is Donkey Trump, and together we can make manifestation great again.
Building on a culture.
Does it look like a Devin or David?
David is his name. It's been so spot on.
And I don't know if you put it in the side of your end table or not. You like to summon your end table too.
My God, we're crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's showing me flowers, like relay them or redo them, these purple flowers.
Oh my God, Scott, the flowers are right there. My orchids are purple. They completely are dead.
Yeah.
Did you even know? You nailed
100%.
everything, every single thing. Listen, everyone, this guy.
There needs to be a connection with like a Native American ancestry. And they're showing me a turquoise stone. Yes.
I just went to a Native American dance class and I wore this stone.
Tell me something that he told you that came true.
Everything he's predicted has come true.
I just don't see it.
So he doesn't have cancer?
It's very possible.
Oh, Camera's psychic who first questioned Brooke's cancer.
Scott Cruz.
Oh, there you won! You won!
You better question yourself. We're here to bring enlightenment, not confusion.
You might encounter negative aspects of self, but that's a freeing experience.
Because then they start realizing that they can't think outside the box. And I say, if you can't think outside the box, then who's the stupid one here? We've all co-created this matrix. So if you don't like the matrix, that's you saying that you don't like your own reality, what you're creating for yourself. So we're all equal participants of the creation of this matrix. I don't just come on here and talk shit, repeat shit. I'm living it.